Yo, stop feeding your jealous energy. The thoughts that come from jealousy, I'd say it's damn near impossible to not feel it. It happens. You think it. You compare yourself to another person. Oh, they have something I want. They had something I always wanted growing up, but I never had that, or whatever the case is. Uh, as a human, it's very human to feel it. Now, acting upon it is different. Feeding that energy is different, and validating your thoughts. All thoughts are not real, all feelings are not real. They're just, our brains are programmed to just think most of the time repetitive thoughts. It's just the same thing. You see something, you're like, oh, I want that. Damn, like, how did he get that girl? How does he get this money? Or whatever. You might be jealous of someone's people get jealous. All of us. I'm not excluded. Will feel and get jealous over the most random things, but it's not valid and it's a negative energy. A couple things I want to say. So, for instance, I have a friend who had a loving parent growing up, but was very toxic. And without disclosing too much, that parent that they had was very toxic. But I'm also hearing a bunch of like loving stories about the places they went and like where that parent took them, and you could easily hear the story and think like, well, damn, like you being ungrateful, like there's people out here that didn't have any of that. There's people out here that didn't have parents, and we could sit here and compare all day to toxic parenting. Some people have both parents and they're both toxic and they're alcoholic or abusive or pedophilia or whatever, skeletons in the closet. And you might look at this person and say, oh, I wish I had your parents. No, you don't. No, you don't. So for instance, my friend that has a toxic parent, when I hear the story and I'm like, man, like I didn't get any of that growing up, but I also didn't get any of that toxicity either. And, I have my own stuff that I experienced from in my circumstance. And some people might look at me and say, oh man, I wish I had your life. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't. We all have pluses, minuses. It's just balancing of the scale. I truly feel that like we as spirits experiencing this human experience, we all have our paths and walks of life and circumstances that like in one way it might look better, in another way it's crazy as hell, and you wouldn't want their problems. So don't be jealous of their perks. Don't be jealous of the good things they have going on, good things that you think is good, but it comes with, my friend gave me an analogy that it's a little poison inside the candy, and it tastes good and it looks good, and it's like, man, like I do wish I had that growing up, but who knows how it would have turned out if I had a loving, toxic parent, and it just goes down the line for whatever. I suffered from a lot of depression, but at the same time, I learned a lot. My life circumstance taught me very hard lessons early, and some people be like, "Man, you're so mature, or you're so like thoughtful, or you're thorough, or whatever, intelligent." And it's like, yeah, it's true, but like, you don't want my depression. You know what I mean? You don't want my problems, and I don't want yours. So walk your path, be true to your path. Uh, don't feed the energy and the thoughts. Understand that all thoughts are not real. Don't feed into it. We think a bunch of crazy thoughts, and it's just like, ignore. Just another random thought. And same with that negative, jealous energy. Whatever you might be jealous of. Oh, you're short, I'm tall, I'm black, you're white, and I'm light skinned, you're dark skinned, whatever. It's just like, man, woman, look, don't feed into the jealous energy. Try not to. It takes practice. And yeah, that's my message for today. P for that passport.